The Shark Deck.
Somewhere in the feed, you'll find a bonus episode talking about Chris Rock's special Saturday night. Hi, I'm Johnny Mac with your Daily Comedy News. Now, we got to clear something up here. All listeners to this show know where Ryan Hamilton is from. Here, I don't have to tell you. You say it. That's right. Everybody answered Idaho. Everyone knows Ryan Hamilton is from Idaho. You'd have to be an idiot to think he's Canadian. You'd have to be a moron to suggest he's from Ohio. What kind of fool would do that? Now, you may remember a couple of weeks ago, I mentioned Ryan Hamilton, and I said he was Canadian. And then Tom shot me a note telling me I was wrong. And then I clarified that, oh, yeah, he's not Canadian. He's from Ohio. And then Scott, also a friend of the show, shot a note and like, dude, you got it wrong again. He's not from Ohio. He's from Idaho. So Tom has shot me another note. And I told Tom I would put a little spin on his text, which was written in a very friendly manner. But I'm going to put some spin on it. Let the record show that I said in the first email in this chain that Ryan Hamilton was from Idaho, which we know Ryan Hamilton is from. He adds, I heard you say Ohio, but after checking in to make sure that I said Idaho, which we all know Ryan Hamilton is from, I decided to let it go. Fortunately, another friend of the show held you accountable, smiley face crying emoji. Tom even sent his original email, which, let me read it to you verbatim correctly this time. He wrote, dude, Ryan Hamilton may seem Canadian, but he's from Idaho. It's been a big part of his stand-up. How and why I misread Idaho as Ohio, who knows? But the only way to clear this up is I think we need to hear from Ryan Hamilton himself. Presumably, Ryan knows where he's from, so let's check in with Ryan.
I'm from Idaho. Nobody's disputing that. I look like where I'm from, don't I? I mean, you don't look at me right away and go, that guy's from Idaho. But when I say it out loud, everybody thinks, that makes sense to me. I think that guy is legit from Idaho.
All right, that seems to clear it up. Now, if you listen every day and you hear my accent, you're like, John must be from, like, Georgia. He probably lives next to Jeff Foxworthy. No, I'm actually from New York City, believe it or not, which sets up this next clip from Ryan.
New Yorkers have no clue, you know? Where are you from? Idaho. Why? That's what it feels like. Why? I don't know. That's where I done been born. That's why. That's where God done birthed me. And then they'll try to connect. They go, oh, I know it. You know it? Congratulations. It's a state in your country. You should know it. And then they go, no, I know it. This is what you tell me. It's in the Midwest. No, it isn't.
If you'd like to watch that complete clip, you'll find it on YouTube. Ryan Hamilton drags New Yorkers. Very, very funny. Do you hear the Jerry in there? Yeah, a little Jerry in there. Ryan's fantastic. And, as you know, from Idaho. Late Night, which had been slumping, is back, baby. They had a bunch of great jokes about CPAC. Now, if you don't know what CPAC is, Jimmy Kimmel explains. CPAC stands for Clowns Periodically Assembling in Convention Centers. Fallon says it's basically Coachella for people who post on Facebook in all caps. It is actually the Conservative Political Action Conference, Kimmel said. They started it with the traditional 21 assault rifle salute and the Pledge of Allegiance to Donald Trump. Fallon, CPAC calls itself the largest and most influential gathering of conservatives in the world. The speeches are serious, while the people trying to dance at the after party are hilarious. Kimmel. The conference held at the Gaylord Harbor National Resort and Convention Center, which is another reason Mike Pence doesn't attend. Kimmel, they had some great panels lined up. People go to see panels like No Chinese Balloons Above Tennessee, Sacking the Woke Playbook, Parents with Pitchforks. Those are all real. Kimmel then tagged it with, I saw Parents with Pitchforks at Coachella last year. Really good band. Fallon, and this is nice. After each speech, there'll be a Q&A. Theo Vaughn spoke with the Boston Globe, and they were like, hey, Theo Vaughn, what made you start your podcast this past weekend back in 2016? Theo said, I walked out of Joe Rogan's one day and I said, man, I can do this differently. And I just started in my kitchen. I started sitting there talking, telling stories from growing up. I was at my place with Hollywood where I was at my wit's end. Hollywood offers this diamond in the distance. Come here and you'll have a chance. But I got to Hollywood and there weren't a lot of shows with anybody from my area with my point of view. Why don't these people see me? They don't want to see me. They don't want to think there can be a poor white guy from the South who isn't racist and dumb and the child of ruby-cheeked Republicans who drinks oil at night. They asked him if the podcast has changed his relationship with his fans. He said, it's not like back in the day where if you saw a celebrity on the street and you were a fan of them. With podcasting, it's different. There are fans who know you. There are fans you'd probably become friends with. When someone's like, hey man, I listen to your podcast, that puts me on a totally different level with them because we probably think about some of the same stuff. It's been a gift because I've had people come and say things to me that I needed to hear that I wouldn't have been able to orate for myself. That's pretty cool. Whtney Cummings spoke to people about having children, and she said, hey, look, here's the thing. I have all the time in the world. I have biological children. There's no rush. I did freeze my eggs. Whtney Cummings is 40 and added, they have a beautiful beachfront in Redondo, California. They're on better real estate than me. I do want them to get out before the sea level rises and they flood, but I was going to try this year to get pregnant. Interesting. If you missed Adam Sandler on his recent North American tour, whew, you are in luck. He's added more tour dates. I mean, who is a bigger fan of Adam Sandler's hilarious stand-up comedy and fine movies than I am? I'm online right now trying to get tickets for April 13th in Newark. Boy, I hope I can get in. I'd hate to miss an Adam Sandler show. He's also playing Philadelphia, Buffalo, New York, Detroit, Louisville, and Cleveland, Ohio. I like how they had to specify Cleveland, Ohio. Are there other Clevelands? Let's look. Wow. There are 28 places named Cleveland in America, 3 in the UK, and 2 more in Australia. So just to be clear here, Adam Sandler is not playing Cleveland, Wisconsin. He's not playing Cleveland, West Virginia. He's not playing Cleveland, Utah. Are you going to do all 28, John? No. He's not playing Cleveland, Middlesbrough. So if you're in the UK, no Adam Sandler for you. And I got bad news for you if you're in Tasmania. No Adam Sandler. But if you're in Cleveland, Ohio, and I know for a fact there are listeners to this podcast in Cleveland, Ohio. I know that 100% guaranteed. I even have their phone numbers. Adam Sandler is coming to see you, babe. Sandler's also working on Murder Mystery 2 that co-stars Jennifer Aniston. And this article here says, don't expect Adam Sandler to read reviews of the flick. The comedian recently revealed that he stopped reading his press after Billy Madison flopped back in 1995. And I doubt Sandler listens to me.
Welcome to How to Tickle Yourself. I'm your host, Duff McDonald.
And I'm your co-host, Matt McButter. We'll be talking to people who specialize in different ways of inhabiting their own consciousness, from artists to yoga teachers to scientists. We've even got a professional magician.
We're going to ask them questions like, what is consciousness? Why does it tickle? And what is magic anyway? Is it just card tricks, or is it the fact that your little speck of consciousness is part of a perfect possibility machine?
Find us wherever you get your podcasts and at storicmedia.com.
So my big plan for the day is I'm going to try and go run a 7.5 miler. My wife and I signed up for a 15K, so that's about 9 miles, and that's 2.5 weeks out, and I am not ready for it. So today, it's actually warm where I live, and I'm planning on going out for a long run, which brings us to today's sponsor, The Power of the Streak. The Power of the Streak, an easy-to-read book by Kara Wood. The Power of the Streak answers the age-old question, how to stay consistent with exercise and keep motivated over time. I told you last week I had a streak going. I snapped it. Now, why did I snap it? Oh, because it snowed. That's why. And I had to take an hour and a half to shovel the driveway, so my workout time went to the snow. Is shoveling snow a workout? Perhaps. Maybe we'll find the answer in The Power of the Streak. Who knows? But I've been pretty good lately. Pretty good. Going back and forth between running on the treadmill and doing Apple Fitness Plus spin classes. Those are fun, but once it warms up, I want to get back outside. I do so much better outside. If you struggle with working out regularly, or if you started exercising and then you find yourself back where you started after a couple weeks, you need to check out the book, The Power of the Streak. Kara had zero motivation for years. She eventually flipped the switch and has not looked back. Through her story of starting and keeping a running streak for 12 years, through a demanding career and after 2 childbirths, and all the chaos of being a wife and a mother, Kara shares the secret to having the drive to exercise no matter what. Her story is funny, relatable, and inspiring. Plus, and this is cool, she gives you a step-by-step guide of how you can do the same thing with any exercise. It does not have to be running. My question for her, does it include shoveling snow? Good question, right? No, it's actually a terrible question, John. The book has a low-key, authentic, and relaxed style, but is also entertaining and motivating. Even a cynic, I know those people, hi, will leave feeling inspired and excited to commit once and for all for this dreaded exercise thing. Plus, percentage of royalties are being donated to the Special Olympics, which is way cool. The Power of the Streak by Kara Wood, available in all formats on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. There's an audiobook on iTunes and Audible. Are you on social media? Of course you are. The Power of the Streak on Instagram, at The Power of the Streak, Twitter, at Power of Streak. You can even listen to this podcast while working out. So don't blame me. Don't be like, John, I would have worked out today, but I had to donate 15 minutes to you bashing Adam Sandler, and it's your fault. It is not my fault. The ever-so-serious Hari Kondabolu spoke to LitHub. Hari said, I decided to do stand-up in high school. I started doing it in college. There were open mics and things. There were no comedy clubs, so there were no other places to go. I was the only show in town, and I liked it. I was at Bowdoin College in Brunswick, Maine. I'm a Queens kid in Maine. I stood out like a sore thumb. Not even a sore thumb, just a brown thumb. It didn't need to be sore. It was just that, a perfectly fine thumb, but it's a different pigment. It was shocking coming from Queens to be in a place with so much wealth and so much whiteness and a type of whiteness I'd never really seen. You know, kind of a waspy New England prep school, boarding school whiteness with a different set of standards that I didn't understand. Wanda Sykes is so funny. You could choke at one of her shows. She told a story to James Corden and said, the show is going well, and they're yelling at me from over the side of the stage. I'm like, what's going on? They were like, you need a paramedic. This guy, apparently he had a lot to drink. There's always alcohol involved, and he was laughing so hard that he puked and then started choking on his own vomit. Oh, no. Medical crews were called in to work on the choking man. Joel McHale was one of the guests on Corden and chimed in and said, that must have been a funny joke. Anytime somebody quits a hit show, I always point out people like Dennis Franz, Patrick Stewart, and Kelsey Grammer. If you walk up to Kelsey Grammer and you go, hey, do you want to play Frasier? He doesn't say like, no, I want to do something else. He goes, oh, paycheck? I'll do it. So Frasier's coming back. And now Lillith is coming back. The new Frasier sees Frasier coming to a different city. I love how they keep saying different city. We know it's Boston with new challenges to face, new relationships to forge, and an old dream or two to finally fulfill. Frasier and Lillith. Spoilers, reunite at Freddy's birthday party. Now, Freddy's an adult now. It's been a couple years. Lillith, in classic form, is far from pleased about having to share Freddy. Now that Frasier's back in Boston, what begins as a fun party with friends and family inevitably becomes a Lillith and Frasier showdown for the ages. Very exciting, huh? And that's your comedy news for today. Where's Ryan Hamilton from? That's right. I'm glad you know the answer. Follow the show for free on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your shows. See you tomorrow, and somewhere there's a bonus episode about the Chris Rock thing. So you're at McDonald's, and you get your bag, and you open your bag, you want to grab a couple of fries or something, and there's $5,000 in it. Yeah, this happened to one guy. Hi, I'm Johnny Mac, host of 5 Good News Stories. He gave the money back, don't worry. If you want to start your day with a smile twice a week, I've got 5 good news stories for you. For example, there's an airline for dogs. Or what about the woman in her 80s who just released her debut album? How about the dude who found 150 corn on the cobs under his floorboards? Is corn on the cobs even the way you say that? Who cares? And yes, that was a pony at the supermarket. 5 good news stories, the number 5 good news stories, 5 good news stories, the number 5 good news stories, wherever you get your podcasts.